We are live.
We're live.
Hello.
We will start in just a second.
All right. You can put the mic closer.
Oh, okay. I expect that noise to be made every time the mic is moved to the future.
Save, share.
There we are. Share. Link. Send it to a few people here. Just got to send it to our good friend Billy. And then I'll be ready to go.
Man.
All right.
Welcome to the Nerdkave podcast. I'm Miles.
I'm Max.
And we got a lot to talk about today. Man, we got a lot. What do we want to start with?
I mean, I think right out of the gate, for you DC fans, we have to just get into it.
Yeah.
So the past week for DC has been the craziest thing I think I've ever seen from Hollywood.
That's
it just it's mind-blowing to see the destruction of so much with the promise of so much being rebuilt. But I don't think it's like here's the thing. I trust James Gunn as a director, as a writer. Love the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, Guardians of the Galaxy, all that stuff. But I think in doing so many fans were alienated with the cancellation of projects, firing of actors, and there's really no certainty for what people can expect moving forward with it. Like, they didn't give a slate. He said that they'll be able to announce some projects in early 2023, but like, is that going to get the fans' approval? I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think so either. I think, with all this news. So, do we get anything about the Joker?
Joker. So it sounds like right now, really the only two projects that are safe, Batman 2 and the Joker sequel.
Okay.
Which I'm happy about because those are my two favorite projects that are in the works. But everything else,
Wonder Woman gone,
is just it's
Batman
like so there's some things that are like a little bit up in the air still.
Yeah. Like
with Aquaman and Wonder Woman, like Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa haven't been fired yet, but it's also like Wonder Woman underperformed. Aquaman has the baggage of Amber Heard and the other characters along with it. I think that's something people don't consider when they're like, oh, maybe those projects can be safe. It's like they could be, but if you're recasting Superman to have a younger Superman, you're probably going to either bring in Robert Pattinson's Batman over to that main DC universe or have maybe a variant of him or something. Who knows what they're going to do, but it sounds like they're shooting for a younger cast.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do the same with everybody. I think we're going to get a younger Wonder Woman. I think we're going to get a completely different Aquaman. I think we're going to get the kind of, yellow-green suit, blonde hair kind of Aquaman, the traditional look, the non-Jason Momoa look of him. I think it's really going to be like a full reset of the DCEU because it wouldn't make sense to keep some characters and get rid of others.
Right. They're probably just doing a cleaning house sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's like they're looking at their projects and seeing what's actually worth doing and whatever. So wait, did Aquaman came out though, right?
Yeah. So the first Aquaman came out. The second one is set to come out next year.
Okay.
Along with the Flash movie and I think Blue Beetle. Yes, we will. Ezra Miller, you are on the list tonight. Don't worry. But yeah, so that's the other thing. They're announcing all of this, and they have movies coming out still with these characters.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty much confirmed that Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, is going to be in the Flash movie. We know Ben Affleck's going to be in the Flash movie. Henry Cavill, I believe, filmed for it, but we don't know if they're going to include that now. And it's a lot of like, and Ezra Miller has his problems.
Mhm.
So they have this movie that is supposed to be like the big, next step in the DCEU. But now the DCEU is dead. It's the DCU, DC Universe. So, like, I think it was not a great move for them to announce all this now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why? If you don't have anything coming out immediately, what I think they should have done is they should have waited until the Flash was out and an Aquaman or whatever, and then be like, hey, we've been working on DC Universe for a year. James Gunn, and I keep forgetting the other guy's name, is the co-runner of it.
Yeah.
And then give them the reset. You have everything out of the way, and then be like, okay, we're done. We're gonna redo it. Now you just have a bunch of projects that aren't going to matter. You have characters that are fired, so that they're not going to reappear, or actors that are fired, so that version of the character isn't going to reappear. And it just doesn't. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me why they would do it.
No, and I think like the big thing too is like. With all these projects being canceled, like what you pretty much like they're going probably for one structured story, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like what like are we going to actually see that in the near future or not? What like I guess like what's their plan? What are we going to see like going into the next few years or whatever? Because that was the big thing. Like I think we were talking last week about it. Was like. I remember somebody saying it was like, okay, so somebody canceled, so they canceled all these things. So 2023, there's not a lot of DC stuff coming out now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, we're just going to have to see whatever's released and then go into 2024, maybe with some idea of what they plan on doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and yeah, that's the thing. Like there's nothing coming up. Like, no. The Superman script, James Gunn revealed that he's like in the process of writing it. They don't have a director. He might direct it. So it's like, that's not going to come out for at least 3 years at the minimum. And then, we don't have a slate. We don't have any other announcements for actors, directors, stories, any of it. So it's like, this is at least probably like 3 to 4 years out for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think on one hand, I think with what they're doing, it's good to kind of like set the record straight for how everything's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, if you don't have anything to, give as an alternative, nobody's going to accept it. No. Like I think I said this last week, what they should do is say, hey, Henry Cavill's not coming back, but we have a Superman trilogy planned or something, because that's something a lot of Superman fans wanted. They hated this Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, and just like nothing.
Right.
They wanted a trilogy, so even though it's not Henry Cavill, maybe give them like, hey, Superman is getting a trilogy. James Gunn did say he's going to be a priority along with Batman, so that's good. But they also have said that before, and it didn't follow through. Yeah. So. It's DC and Warner Brothers kind of doing what they do best. And I say that as a fan. Like, I don't think they plan things as well as they should. They just kind of have stuff come out and then hope for the best, but it never goes well.
No. I think it just, for them, I don't know, like, things seem to always fall apart or whatever when it comes to either marketing or whatever it is. It's like, and whatever they plan on doing, it's like they get into this weird middle ground of like things being half produced or almost done, and then they just completely are like, all right, we're gonna back it up, erase this stuff, and start over.
Yeah,
and then so it's a weird time, I think, for it. I saw a lot of complaints about it. Like I
Mhm.
understand that. Like it's like you promised all this stuff and then you're just gonna backpedal on what you said. And it's
Mhm.
like, is it because I you're right. Yeah, you called it. You pretty much called it last week. It was like, what are they going to end up doing? Are they just going to cut all these projects? And they ended up doing that. And then I don't know. I don't know if it has anything to do with the whole merger with was it Discovery Plus
Yeah.
and HBO Max, or what the deal is, or
I think the merger definitely has something to do with it. But I also think, like, I think the merger was the catalyst for things because it wasn't completely under control of the people who were in charge.
Yeah.
And DC wasn't doing great. Like, they haven't been putting out content that has really had people excited. Like, Black Adam is expected to lose around $100 million at the box office. I think the last, like, big successes for it were Peacemaker and Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Mm-hmm. And with Black Adam, it's like The Rock is not bad in any of the movies he plays. It's just I think it was very just underwhelming, or like you said, it was like not a lot of people knew the character, and whatever it was just there was no hype for it, and there's no like big marketing thing other than The Rock being in it, and so there was no real big push for it. So I think that's why it didn't do as well as it could have.
Yeah, and I think another thing with that movie in particular is we got Eric commenting on it.
Yeah.
They do need Tom DeLonge. Honestly, Tom DeLonge to the stars, DC,
Tom DeLonge.
Partner up, make some good content for us. But yeah, I think with Black Adam in particular, the trailers very much were like, hey, this is an origin movie.
Yeah.
I think people are done with origin movies. Like Tom Holland's Spider-Man showed that you can take a character that people know, put him in a movie, and you don't have to retell everything. And with Black Adam, it is a little bit of an exception because he's not as well known. We haven't had a Black Adam movie before. But to me, the trailer really made it seem like, okay, you're going to learn the backstory. You're going to go through the common steps you do with a character like this. And from what I heard, I actually haven't seen Black Adam. But from what I heard, reviews I watched with people I generally have the same opinions with, it seems like it very much was that kind of like stereotypical, like, oh, here's I guess Black Adam would kind of be considered like an anti-hero movie. You go through the motions. It has this arc. And then that's it.
Oh.
And I don't think we're getting a sequel for that. I don't even know if the character is going to appear again.
No.
I do want to talk about the main actors who have been fired or futures in question, though, because poor Henry Cavill. Like, the guy gets fired as Superman, essentially.
Yep.
Gets rehired as Superman, is told in October to promote his appearance in Black Adam, is then given the go-ahead to say, hey, we're working on cameos and projects and all that in October and November. And then here comes December, blow all that to hell.
Yeah, no, It was really like they did hype him up. They hyped him up a bunch, and especially in Black Adam. And then for that to just like fall through, it was just like, wow, like his character probably got the most like, fucked. I would say it was just the most just backwards for him. Now it's like, okay, well that's it for him.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. That sucks. And it's like Wonder Woman being canceled, and then like the other projects, and what the ones left standing are Joker, probably Batman,
Blue Beetle,
and then our boy Mr. Miller,
the Flash.
So which we'll talk about. I think we could just go right into Ezra Miller before we talk about Star Wars stuff.
Yeah,
since we're on the topic. So Ezra Miller, our boy, like he did one of the only movies that didn't get scrapped out of this whole thing. Let's see, what did Eric say? Christopher Nolan was the best thing going.
Oh yeah, so he went from Warner Brothers to who was it? Was it New Line, or he went to whatever company's making his movies now? And I think that's good for Christopher Nolan because he is not going to be creatively restricted. He's not going to be restricted with release format, which was his biggest issue with Warner Brothers. Is really for Tenet. Yeah. They had a specific way they wanted things to go for the release of that, and because of that, the movie didn't do super well. When in any other year or time period where there's not a virus going around, it would have probably done pretty well. I would say along the lines of like Inception level stuff. So
it comes down to marketing and how the just like sticking behind your cast. Mm-hmm. Really, it's like doing events and like being with the cast, doing promotions for it, all that sort of stuff. Like if you get a good marketing thing going with the cast and the trailers and all that sort of stuff, like you can make something like do really well. But when you don't have a supporting backbone behind it, and it's just going to fail. So it's that's with like every movie, and it's like these directors and stuff, they probably want to do those things, but Warner Brothers is very much like, we want it to go this way, controlling like how things they want it to go, when in reality it's like it's better to do it this way. And so I can ramble about it all day, but
no, I think that's a good way to put it for sure. And I just the whole DC thing, man, it's crazy. And like the fact that I was watching actually a Tyrone Magnus reaction to Angry Joe earlier, talking about the whole Henry Cavill situation. And, James Gunn put out a tweet saying that it's not going to be an origin story, but they're going to be focusing on a younger Clark Kent going through the motions of, being a newly found Superman, meeting Lois Lane, working at the Daily Planet and all that. And to me, it's like, that's basically an origin story. We got Billy in here.
You got it, Rude. No, we forgot the thing. We forgot the plug-in for the new camera.
Yeah. Next time. But next time, hopefully, I don't know how long you've been watching, but I think I said that before we said. Either way, we'll have a new background and setup very soon too, so that will be exciting.
In the works.
Yes, but they. What was I talking about?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't know.
Let's see. It was something DC. Oh, the Superman thing. So that it basically, him meeting Lois Lane, working at the Daily Planet, figuring out the motions of being a young Superman. That's basically a Superman origin story. We might not see Krypton end. We might cut like 15 minutes off the movie. But other than that, it really does sound like it's going to be the general idea of a Superman origin story, which, like Angry Joe was saying in his video, like, we don't need that again. We've seen so many origin stories and, I think origin stories in general, unless it's a character that you really think you need it for, it's not, people don't care. Like the general audience doesn't care about them anymore either. It's like everybody knows who Superman is, especially for that one. We don't need another origin story. And then the other argument that he brought up that I thought was good is, like, we've seen a young Superman in every iteration of a live action Superman. Like, don't you want to see a Superman like what I think they were going to end up eventually doing with Henry Cavill, where he's like a more seasoned character? He can fight, bigger villains or have different struggles, rather than the same kind of stepping stones you have to go through with certain levels of characters or whatever to get to that point eventually in his
character development
career. Character development.
Let's see. It's like sports franchise players come and go. How long can this last before tearing everything apart. Exactly. Like I explain this all the time about the DC, especially where it's like actors come and go in DC quite a bit. Where it's like Marvel, you have a set base of actors that play. Like there's only one Iron Man. There's only one Captain America. There's only one Black Widow. There's only one person that plays those roles. But in the DC universe, you can have 5 different Batmans. You can have 5 different Wonder Womans. You can have so many different iterations of characters, and it's like how much it's like you have to watch this Batman, but it's not in the same universe. So it's like you have to pick and choose your universes and pick and choose your Jokers, pick and choose your Batmans, pick and choose your Wonder Woman. Like it's a lot, and it's like it can be very overstimulating. And then you have origin stories of different Batmans, and it's just like it's a lot. I get that, and it's just like I like everything to be tied into one, but it's like can those actors actually hold those roles or whatever it is, or are they just going to keep in the door, out the door, in the door? I mean, The Rock is one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, and it's like with Black Adam and stuff, it's like you can't get another Black Adam. Who else can be The Rock? Like it's like it's like I don't know.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a good point with comparing Marvel and DC, and like even with what Marvel's been doing recently with the multiverse, with Doctor Strange and Loki. It's like they have other versions of characters, but it's very explicitly stated that like you're following this like one version of this character. Like that's your main one, at least for this point in time. And then you have other ones that might trickle in here and there. Whereas with DC, it's like, okay, we're having our shared universe, then our connected universe, and then we're going to have like another Batman and another Joker, and we're going to bring back Michael Keaton's Batman. It's like they can't figure out the balance between like who is the main one and then who's going to be like the side kind of like supporting character variations of them, or variants if we want to use the Marvel term. It really is just a mess.
Billy said he is since wait, hold on. The Rock reportedly turned down a cameo in Shazam 2 and said, "I only play with the big leagues." He has since lied about Black Adam's box office and how he's unfollowed Black Adam on Warner Brothers, and it's still
I didn't know about the unfollowing. Did you hear about the number thing that he said though?
No.
So he came out when there was all this backlash going on about how much of a flop Black Adam was at the box office. And he basically put out false numbers saying that it would make like, I think it was 52 to 74 million at the box office when all was said and done. But then I don't know if it was people in the industry or what, but it came out that it's actually going to lose like 100 million. So
there you
go.
Oh, and then Billy up there, I missed that comment. They could just say that Elf is the first DCU film.
Honestly,
from there.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? I think that's a great start. You have an established fan base. You have a character people love.
The Elf track coming. It's coming. I'm just kidding.
Oh, so that a little bit delayed. I will. So what I told myself is I will get it to you, and I will record it once this is better. But like I can't play guitar or drums or anything, and I haven't been able to since October 28th. Hopefully I will be getting it off next week, but hopefully I'll be able to adapt quickly and play guitar and drums and all that. So once I'm able to, I will get you that track. It might be a track for January or February. Hey, I'm getting you your Christmas song early for next year.
Yeah.
Speaking of Elf though, real quick, I am seeing the Elf Orchestra Hall thing tomorrow.
Ooh.
Where they play the movie and then they have the live orchestra going, so that will be very exciting.
We've seen that Orchestra Hall.
Oh, yeah. So I'll talk about that next week a little bit for sure.
I'll allow it.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
But we'll talk about Ezra Miller briefly about how because it's DC also, and how the Flash is one of the only movies not cut from DC, and it's the one with the most controversy behind it. And it's like, so because before we started, I don't remember what you said. So the Wonder Woman was almost done, or was it the
So
script
Wonder
done, or-
Woman 3 was canceled. The script was going through revisions. So Patty Jenkins had turned in the script, and then she was going in for revisions. I think they were on revision 5, if I remember correctly,
Right.
Before she gave it to James Gunn and said, take it or leave it. And he decided to leave it. So then they basically, it was a little murky as to whether they parted ways kind of equally or if it was a firing. But it sounds like Patty Jenkins is done with Wonder Woman. The movie was canceled. Gal Gadot's future is kind of, we don't really know, but it's like,
again, she's
else.
another great actress, like a really big actress in Hollywood, and it's like you just get rid of it. It's like I don't know how you do that, and on Insta. Oh, I don't know. But yeah, no, but with the Flash, it's like all that controversy behind that when it's like you have all these movies that were like pretty much like in the starting phases. What was the one movie that was finished that they decided not to Batgirl. Like that movie was a good example. It's like, so you don't release Batgirl, but you'll release the Flash.
Yeah, and well, to be fair, Batgirl had a budget, I think, of $100 million, which isn't cheap. But that was a budget of $100 million, whereas I think the Flash was estimated after reshoots and cast additions and all that, like $300 million or so. So there's a big difference with what went into it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, with all of the controversy and problems and legal battles and all that going on, it's shocking that they're not at least doing something with it. And
I just, like we've talked before the podcast too, it's like, I do wonder why. I honestly wonder why that one wasn't canceled. I don't know if it's a contract. I don't know if it's a lawsuit thing, which your roommate Sam said. I don't know. There's probably something to do with it, where they're legally tied somehow to finish that movie. To where it's like, I don't know if it's a tax write-off thing. If they decided to cancel, they could easily.
I know they did like 3.5 million in tax write-offs recently.
Okay,
so it could be tied with that. But also, it's like I think they just want to make whatever money they can off of it before they kill the universe.
They probably put too much into it to where it's like they can't scrap. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Angry Joe was pissed about.
Oh yeah. I mentioned, I think before you came on, that I was watching Tyrone Magnus reacting to Angry Joe, reacting to the news about Henry Cavill. And it just, like it's not good. All of his points are so accurate. It's like we're getting a young Superman that's not an origin story, but is basically an origin story because you're showing him meeting Lois Lane, working at the Daily Planet, or like his early days working in the Daily Planet. Figuring out what it means to be Superman. You're basically giving us the origin story without the whole Krypton thing, which can be summed up in 5 to 15 minutes. So hopping back to the Ezra Miller stuff, though, like we were talking about this before too. He hasn't been fired, which like that now it really is crazy to me because I was like, okay, like 2 weeks ago before any of this happened, I was like, all right. You're using him to kind of jumpstart the revamping of the DCEU. You're going to kick him out at the end of the movie. You're going to bring, whatever actors, Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, because he was rumored for a cameo and all that coming back, kind of resetting everything, setting the ground for the movies that would kick off the next phase, Aquaman 2, Shazam 2, Blue Beetle. But now everybody's getting fired. Everything's getting canceled. I get that, like financially, why they would not cancel The Flash.
Right.
But the fact that Ezra Miller hasn't been fired, I think is the funniest thing I've ever. Like, how do you not fire him? You have the perfect out now. That's the thing. Like before, it's like, okay, he's the star of your movie, whatever. But now you have Ben Affleck, who's not going to be doing Batman for them anymore, which is confirmed. You have Henry Cavill, who was in Black Adam, filmed some stuff for The Flash, and I think was signed into 2 cameos and one like feature length or something with his contract from October. You're going to terminate those, which will have to, I assume, pay out the actors for something. And then you're getting rid of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of Ezra Miller. Like, yes, we love having his name in the title of this podcast, but there needs to be some evolution with this story. And now is the perfect time to do it. You're firing everybody, just fire him. Be like, oh yeah, we're changing up everything.
It's like, no, we're just gonna hold on to him. He's our boy.
That's what they must be
He's
saying.
He's gonna take us all the way.
Yeah.
Ezra Miller. He's gonna be in every DC movie.
Oh no. The sad part is if they haven't fired him yet, so that's possible. I wouldn't put it past him at this point, honestly. Amber Heard's still in Aquaman too. She hasn't been fired from anything yet.
Yeah, see, how are Ezra and Heard still not fired? Exactly.
Yep. Yeah. Like, they have the perfect out. Just
the two most controversial people they still have on there. So that's why I'm wondering. It must be like I don't know because the other actors had contracts too. So I don't know why that they were fired. I don't know. Eric said, I was wondering if Ryan Reynolds is going to do his Home Alone inspired movie, Stoned Alone. That's a movie I'll watch.
I mean, it'll happen eventually. I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're doing their Christmas Carol spinoff. Maybe next year we'll get Stoned Alone. And then the year after that, we'll get the parody of Elf called Shelf. About Elf on a Shelf. I'm going to grab some more water real quick. I'll be back in a second.
Let's see. Yeah, no, but Ezra and I heard like like I said, the two most controversial people haven't let go yet for I don't know what reason, but whatever that reason. I mean, eventually I think they'll probably get fired. Hopefully, maybe not, but until we know more, it's questionable, and the future of DC is questionable too in the next 2 years. So I'd say it's a lot of things are up in the air for that. Just with, I don't know, like it's bizarre. It's a bizarre world over there right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what their strategy is. I don't know if they have a strategy.
I was gonna say I don't think there's one going either way.
So you got any more DC stuff?
I don't think so, but let's check Twitter real quick to be sure.
See if there's
because it's changing every minute.
Yeah. It just sucks, man. It does. It's just like all those good projects just gone. It's it's funny. It's like the biggest stars: The Rock, Gail Gallant, Batman. Why did I forget his name?
Which one?
Batman.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. Like all like the biggest actors gone. Like, but then he still got Heard and Miller. Like, bro, what's kind of backwards thinking? Shit. So, but yeah, that's funny about the Rock stuff. I didn't know about that. That he lied about the numbers and followed Warner Brothers.
Yeah. I mean, I think that tells you right there that they're not going to be moving forward with it. The unfollowing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So it's like the story's over. You can't tell anymore.
Yeah. And now, like, with that happening, it's like he's not going to promote anything, I'm sure, too. Because if he unfollowed them, I'm pretty sure they're like, hey, your movie flopped, you're fired. But you still have the HBO Max release, the DVD release, and the digital release coming up. You could have at least had him promote that, but I don't think they were thinking about that.
It's just like The Rock. Like, you had The Rock.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't do anything with The Rock, who can? Like, what can you do? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. 0 cents. It makes 0 sense.
You know what's interesting? What's interesting? And Charlie Miller is able to do movies. I know Charlie Miller is. Eric.
The one thing I'll say, though, regarding all of this that could be a positive spin with it is when Ben Affleck's Batman movie was announced and then canceled, and a lot of people were upset about it. Then Matt Reeves announced that he was doing the Batman with Robert Pattinson, and everybody was pissed about it. That delivered an incredible movie. So I'm not going to completely write off DC with this. I don't think this was done in the best way it could have been done. But there is, I think, still some potential for it to be okay like 5 years from now.
Let's see. What did Billy say? Wrote a letter. Apologize, Johnny. Jack Sparrow. No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw that. And hey, I'm going to give your letter credit right here and now for the record, even though I have no say in anything at Disney. Your letter was what did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. And, get their alpacas ready.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. I did see something about that where Depp was actually interested in doing something again. Was that? I
actually didn't have a lot of time to look into that in particular because I was following the DC stuff so much. What I was following, and this is something that I think Popcorn Planet was helping with as well in some stage, is I forget his name, but there's a kid who had a Make-A-Wish to, I think it was meet or communicate with Johnny Depp, and then to have enough YouTube subscribers to get a plaque. And Johnny Depp put out a video as Jack Sparrow, talking to the kid, and he hit like 100,000 subscribers. I know Popcorn to Planet helped out with some like back end stuff.
Yeah, he said
when there was issues.
Mm-hmm. Crack in the Box.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Corey. That's right. Thank you. Yeah, like that just goes again to show like Johnny Depp is a genuinely good person.
Oh yeah,
and the Ambers and Ezras of the world.
The Ambers
get out of here.
Those are their two people, Warner Brothers. They're like, they'll take us to the moon. They'll take us to everywhere. We don't need those other guys.
They'll take you to the moon, but then they'll run out of fuel for the spaceship and not have any spacesuits.
They'll just be like, well, we only got Ezra and Heard left. So they got to do all the movies. So we need Ezra as Batman.
Can you imagine the Ezra Miller Amber Heard universe?
Oh,
that's what DC becomes.
It's funny that Megan Thee Stallion is in the lawsuit right now. For the current lawyer. Oh yeah, she was in a lawsuit. What was that for? I don't remember what.
I don't know. And
I did hear about that.
You just made me think of She-Hulk again.
Yeah.
Really. What are your thoughts on She-Hulk?
She-Hulk.
I forget if I really shared mine on here. I did end up watching all
I think we talked a little bit about it. It was pretty much like it was a show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yep.
Yeah. It was like
the fact that the final episode addresses how poorly written the show was.
Yeah.
Huge red flag. Like
it's like they knew.
Yeah, they're just, it seems like they were really like in the writer's room and they had planned everything out. They were writing all the scripts. They got to the last one. They're like, oh, this is like kind of generic and stupid. Let's just say it's generic and stupid, which is like the easy way out, really, is what it is.
The Daredevil stuff was good. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The finale, so bad. Like it wasn't even a finale. I would have preferred the like generic fight scene they were leading up to, because then that at least would have had some sort of story they could build off of or something. Not her swinging through Disney Plus, which in concept, I liked the idea of her breaking the fourth wall that way. Like I think creatively that was smart. Mm-hmm. To have her like go in the Disney Plus app and kind of have this like meta thing going on. But the execution of all of that was just not it.
It comes down to execution. Yeah, mm-hmm. It's like in the last episode, it's either you hit or you miss. And I think it was a miss there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So it was pretty pointless. Yeah.
The entire season's pointless with the final episode. It really is. Because it's like the first, you really just need the first and the last episode, because the first episode in the first like minute establishes how she becomes She-Hulk. Then she like masters being She-Hulk in the first episode.
Yep.
Then you have a bunch of filler. You have Daredevil stuff that's cool. And then the last episode is like, hey, none of this matters. It could have been condensed to a half an hour long show. And I don't think anybody would have complained if they knew the things that they were getting like that they were able to cut out and save time.
Keep talking.
Yeah, it just Phase 4 was something. You know, Wakanda Forever I think had issues too. There was just, you know, I hope Phase 5 is better. That's all I'm going to say. Not that Phase 4 was necessarily bad, but when you compare it to the rest of what the MCU has done and what Marvel in general has done, it's like they could have done so much more with the properties that they brought in and continued within the past 2 years.
I generally wonder what they were thinking. Like Marvel, they seem to have their shit together most of the time. So it's like when they were coming up with She-Hulk, I wonder if it was like, yeah, they're branching out and doing something. They did that with, Black Widow and Miss Marvel and like stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
With She-Hulk, I wonder what they were going for with that character. I don't really know.
To make her as unlikable as possible.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, no. I guess is there anything else from Marvel?
I don't
really
think so. I mean, as always, I'll throw in there, make Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. notably canon for the deniers out there. It is canon, but make it like blatantly clear for all of the people out there still saying it isn't. Yeah, I'll probably have an entertainment outlet video coming on that very soon. Yes, the entertainment outlet is coming back. I said that before, but then this happened, so I haven't been able to edit. But yes, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. canon. She-Hulk, not great. Wakanda Forever, good at times, okay at other times. Phase 4, Phase 5, the project lineup for Phase 5 looks really solid.
Yeah.
So if they can step it up to be that kind of like, solid Marvel that doesn't have any missteps or has few missteps, I think
just take me back to just give me some good stuff. Give me some good stuff.
Yeah. That's all we ask.
So, moving on. I do got some Star Wars stuff. We got some Star Wars news to talk about. So, Andor finished up and stuff. So, last week I mentioned that the Bad Batch Season 2 is coming out. Mandalorian Season 3 on March 1st. And then I got some Ahsoka news. So, Hayden Christensen is reprising his role as Anakin Skywalker in this show. There was a big leak that happened, and I know a little bit of it. Let's see. Show back in the. Yeah, we'll see.
When that day comes, we are going to take over Twitter.
Like, bro, no way.
Be like, we told you. I'm going to find all those people who commented, be like, oh, you're delusional. It's not going to happen. I'm going to go through my comments from 2 years ago. And be like, what do you think now?
Yeah.
If they do that, then like I'll be at the point where I just don't. I don't even know. I'll be pissed
off.
Yeah.
But go back to Star Wars. Hayden Christensen reprising his role as Anakin. We'll see him again. It's going to be interesting because from what I heard, there's gonna be like so back in Rebels. This is probably a little bit of a spoiler for Rebels, but back in Rebels, there's this thing called the like timeline loop thing where it's like it blends space and time, so you can time travel in this little section in Star Wars. And Ezra, not Ezra Miller, but Ezra, the character in the show.
I know who you're talking about.
He found it, and so like it's pretty much like. In the Ahsoka show, Ahsoka is going to be going through this time. The rumor is there's this time thing, so she could go back to episodes like 2 and 3 and stuff, and try to prevent things from happening. But
that's
so the big thing is, the question is, how is this going to happen? Like the big thing is like the summary that I saw was, no matter what she does, everything happens for a reason.
Mhm.
Everything like Anakin still turns no matter what Ahsoka does, is what I heard. So,
Okay.
but we'll see how those events play out, obviously. But the leak was, that where it was like, we're going to see Anakin back in his episode 3 version of him.
The
So I
best
was like,
version.
oh
The best
my
version.
goodness. Like,
emo early
emo.
2000s Anakin.
yeah, I was like, what do you say? I wrote a letter for that as well. The
Dude,
World Between Worlds.
Your letters.
The World Between Worlds, yes.
I think that here's what you need to do. Just keep sending them letters for everything you want, and it sounds like it's going to happen.
Yeah. Like, no, I think it's the World Between Worlds is what it's called. And it's like, I find that fascinating when it was first introduced in Rebels, where it was like, oh shit. Like, usually time travel is very weird when it comes to certain things. It's like, but Star Wars, I can believe it can be in a Star Wars thing because it's in a galaxy far, far away, and it's like anything can happen. So it's like, why can't time travel be a thing?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you can find a thing to make you go back, what will those events turn out to be? Taco Bell, yes, Taco Bell. I'm hungry for Taco Bell, but
I was thinking about Taco Bell.
But so it's like going to be interesting to see where her story goes. I think Ahsoka is personally my favorite character. Probably top 3 or top 2 favorite characters I like in Star Wars, and just her arc and like what she is as a person, and the fact that she's getting a show. And I guess like there's going to be there's going to be a younger version of Ahsoka when they go back in time and stuff. She'll be played by a different actress.
Interesting.
And then there'll be Rosario Dawson's character, Ahsoka, obviously. And then so I'm excited for it. I just thought that was cool. I got the information today, and I was like, that's pretty cool. And then we'll get Hayden Christensen back because I know he was on set doing stuff. So it's very fascinating. I don't know about Obi-Wan, but we'll get Anakin. So
yeah, but that's really cool about Hayden Christensen coming back, because
I'm like, he's finally getting the recognition. Like, Hayden Christensen, he deserves all the credit in the world for like what he's done for Star Wars and stuff. And like back when the prequels were being made, KFC. Back when the prequels were being made, like I feel like they got a lot of hate. So I was like, but now him being in Obi-Wan and now him being in Ahsoka, like it's finally good to see him under a good script, a good just like, this is how he's meant to be.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's fascinating. And I think like even Luke Skywalker, like with the stuff he did in Mandalorian and stuff, for Mark Hamill to come back and reprise his role in that, I think Mark Hamill was very happy. I was like, he's probably like, this is the shit I wanted to do. So,
100%. He's not trashing it in interviews like he did with the sequel trilogy.
He said I think there was that one video where he was like crying because he just was like distraught at like how this character ended or something like that, and he was just like, this is fucking ridiculous. And then for him to actually do these stuff in The Mandalorian, it's like, this is what I wanted. So I don't know, it's pretty cool.
So I have a question with the World Between Worlds thing. And like, assuming the leak, that it was a leak with the whole episode 2 and 3 thing. So if it's going by the idea that everything like happens for a reason, or it's going to end the same way with Anakin turning,
we're probably
is the show pointless? Like,
no, it's like, well, it's not, because in the show they're also trying to find Ezra. They're trying to figure out, because Ezra and Thrawn, if you ever get to watch Rebels, Ezra and Thrawn, they're having their issues, and Ahsoka's trying to find Ezra. So there'll be that part of it, but like part of the story will focus on that, where it's like Ahsoka probably going back and trying to fix events, but no matter what, it's inevitable what happens. So I wonder, like, I was watching Star Wars Theory talk about it. He was like, there's so many scenarios that could happen. It's like Ahsoka can pop up in Mustafar, and then Anakin can win. There's like, Ahsoka can go to the Jedi Temple. Ahsoka can like pop up and try to tell Anakin not to go down this path. There's so many ways. Like you could go back to those times and put Ahsoka in there and see what she can do to stop it, but knowing that no matter what, it's inevitable. So I wonder, like because if Obi-Wan couldn't do anything, how could Ahsoka do something? So it's like, it's very interesting.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because I thought initially what my mind went to is that like the Anakin thing would be kind of like the central point of the story. And that makes a lot more sense. I was like, if he's going to turn anyway, then it's like, just accept that.
Yeah, no, it's there's more to it, but I think that was like a big part of it.
Oh, good. So Ahsoka won't be She-Hulk 2.0.
No, I want de-age Luke to team up with Ben and Anakin. Yeah, the family together with Kylo. In Rebels, Ahsoka fought Vader. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a team up I'd want.
Yep. So yeah, I forgot to mention
really cool
Ahsoka and Vader did fight in Rebels, and like she got away because of the World Between Worlds and all this stuff. It was a big story arc that they were doing for it. So, but it's very fascinating, and it's like you kind of get this whole new like understanding of Star Wars, and you get this whole like other perspective. It's like, oh, they can time travel because Ezra found this thing to a portal. Yeah, World Between Worlds. So it's like, so you'll see that in this show more than likely, from what the leaks say. You could take this all as a grain of salt too. Like if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I don't want to overhype it, but that's what I heard from Star Wars Theory, which is he's a pretty good like source for Star Wars stuff. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited by that.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Ahsoka. I've only seen her in Mandalorian and was it Boba Fett? She was in the other one.
She was in Boba with Mando,
right?
No, she was in Mando. No, she's in Boba Fett. She saw Luke.
Oh, that's right. That's right. But yeah, like specifically in Mando, but also in Boba Fett. Like I really like that character, so I'm pumped that she's getting her own show.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea that like, because she seems like a character who's, at least in this portrayal, since I don't know a whole lot about how well she's been portrayed, but like she seems very kind of straightforward in like a like in her goals and all that.
Yeah, she's
and,
like
what she wants.
She's very much like a very gray Jedi is what I like to call her. She's more because of everything that happened with Order 66. She's not part of the light or the dark. And if you watch the Clone Wars animated show, you see her kind of grow from this like innocent girl to this very like hardened sort of like independent woman that grew a lot in her story. I want to say the Clone Wars was Ahsoka's story in a lot of ways, where it was like you got to see her train under Anakin because Anakin's Padawan. So I'm just like fascinated to see how this show is going to intertwine that, because it's the first time. It's like the Star Wars Theory said, like it's like a fanfic coming to an actual canon storyline, which is really cool because it's like, yes, because it's something we've always wanted. It was always speculated. Let's see. Didn't change anything personally. Yeah. That was always her fate. To pull through the portal. Yep. Just saying though, the Ahsoka show's logo has the design of the World Between Worlds. Yeah. So yeah.
What's the design?
It's like it's 1 second. I'll show you. But it's pretty cool. Star World Between Worlds logo. Kind of looks like that. See how it's like a circle, and then in the Ahsoka, it's like the circle, the word between an O and the O. So yeah, it's
okay, cool.
It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing. I was like, I don't know how like time travel would be implemented in Star Wars well and like received well or not, but for me, like I think like that's a perfect way to like introduce it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, that's
I'm
really cool.
I'm open for it. And I think it being introduced early in Rebels really helps it like be a staple point instead of being like shoehorned into the story right away.
Mhm.
It was just kind of like it was in Rebels, so let's take that aspect and keep this thing with Ahsoka. So yeah, so I think it's pretty cool.
Sweet.
Raisin
That's
Canes. I
awesome.
had Raisin Canes earlier. I did before I came here.
Just getting all the fast food.
Other than that, yeah, we can move on to some music.
Yes.
Since that's our last topic of the day. It's a long episode.
Yeah.
55 minutes. You want to start?
Arby's. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. I'll throw in McDonald's because why the hell
McDonald's.
not? Yeah. So with music, the recent track I actually heard for the first time a few hours ago that I know I'm going to be playing a lot over the next couple weeks is Wish Me. Is it Wish Me Luck? Why, of course, I'm forgetting the name now. I want to say it's called Wish Me Luck. It's a song by the band Wallows. And they initially released this, I want to say, in 2020 on their Remote EP. But it was more of a, Wish Me Luck. It was more of like an 80s kind of pop-inspired sound. Whereas this version, it's very much like an alternative rock take on it.
Okay.
And it sounds really cool. Like it gives a different vibe where the original, like it's the same lyrics and all that, but it kind of has, at least in the chorus with the Wish Me Luck and the way it's said, it kind of has a genuine sound to it. Like it's like, hey, we're going our separate ways, wish me luck. But this one, it has a little more attitude. So it almost makes it sound like it's like, oh, wish me luck. Like, so it's a cool take on a song. And I think the style gives it a nice shift in tone. Besides that, I've been listening to a lot of water parks. We got water parks tickets.
Water parks.
To go see them.
Is that May? Or is that March?
May 9th. Yes. Blink on the 4th.
Yeah.
And then water parks.
I'm seeing Disturbed also.
When?
It's like that same weekend. It's like I have a because I'll have Disturbed, Blink, water parks. When's Paramore? August. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember all the shows. So.
Mod Sun and Stand Atlantic in March.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Five
2023 is going to be a good year, man.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what else have I been listening to? I've been doing a lot of throwback stuff, honestly. Okay, so we got some Fireflies, Owl City. I don't know why. Like, I was never really a fan of that song. It hits now. I don't know.
I listen to it
some reason.
I listen to it way late at night. I listen to it around like midnight, 3 o'clock in the morning. I listen to a lot of Owl City stuff, like either when I'm driving or when it's late at night. Because it's like, I don't know what it is, but it's like his like synths and stuff that he does. It's like a nostalgic
kind of dreamy, nostalgic feel to it. Yeah.
Lucid Dreams is a great song too off his Cinematics album. I like all the songs on Cinematics. I saw 1975 on there. I saw a bunch of people. Amanda went there. Jacob went there. Yeah. I was like, oh shit.
I'd have to go next time. It looks like a good show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been listening to some of the 1975. Is it Happiness or Happier? I want to say it's Happiness off of their new album, Happiness. Yeah. Really cool song, killer, groovy bass line, some kind of like airy or vocals, nice guitar. Been getting into their stuff more. The Stranger Things soundtrack. I'm a soundtrack guy. That was one of my top 5 genres on Spotify Wrapped. And that soundtrack, like it sounds cool. It's like synth based, but sinister and a little airy. Like it just has a great mix of a bunch of stuff. Let's see, is there anything else?
Have you ever blinked 182 times? Yes.
God,
I hope so.
And then I've been listening to some Good Charlotte.
All right. See you, Billy.
Throwback there. All right. Have a good one. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully next time we'll be able to talk about how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was announced as canon by Kevin Feige. And then, Good Charlotte, just going through some of their stuff, Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous, The Anthem, Boys and Girls, all the classic songs by them, including some newer ones too. And then the last one that I have for this week is this band called Hello Ground. I had been getting ads for this band for probably like 2 weeks on Insta. I would get little clips, and I would always be like, oh, I need to check them out. But then I'd always forget, or I'd always forget the name of the song or whatever. So then I was like, okay, I'm just going to click on the link right now. I'm going to go follow them on Spotify. And their song, so it seems like they had been doing covers of songs, like they did Lover by Taylor Swift, I Fought the Law, and just kind of getting a fan base, doing some covers, some different stuff here and there. But their newest release, and what I believe is their first original song, it's called Welcome to My Brain. Really cool, like, I don't even know. It has a little bit of like a more like Rob modern early 2000s feel with a little hint of like Green Day and Alkaline Trio, but lyrics that are, I would say, very kind of modern in the sense of like the way it talks about the subjects in there. And it just is really catchy. Mm-hmm. Like it has this alternative rock kind of feel to it. Some synths in there. It just, it's a great song. I rarely have had Instagram like show me an artist where I'm like, I like hope there's an album so I can listen to this a lot. Right. Like they have a really cool sound. I'll probably show it to you after the podcast. But that's what I have for music this week. What do you got? All right. I got Martin Grack's Hero. I've been listening to that quite a bit. It's a newer song they did for the Marvel showcase for the Game Awards, because a bunch of Marvel games are coming out, and that was one of the songs, and I really like that song. Forever by Rod Wave is a great song. Let's see. This one by, what is it? Oh, Creepin' by Metro Bloom and The Weeknd and 21 Savage. Really great song. I think some people know that song, and it's really good. I thought it bangs. Let's see. I've been listening to some, Ice Nine Kills. Been listening to some of their stuff. I like their serial killer vibes. So because I went to their show, really good. I just like their style. Nice. And then same with Motionless in White. Been listening to some more of them. Linkin Park. My TikTok channel is like posting Linkin Park like live videos and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I just have been listening to a lot of Linkin Park lately. Some Owl City as well. I listened to, let's see, who else have I been listening to? Water Parks. Mm-hmm. Listen to a lot of Water Parks. I think like that they took over my library for a little bit there. Black Rare as Usual. Let's see. Poppy still. Let's see. I've been listening to this new artist I found called Dayseeker. This album's actually pretty cool. Dayseeker. It's like interesting. I'll show you some songs after this, but I think some of their stuff's really good. I was like, because I saw a video on TikTok, and I was just like, okay, all right, I vibe with it. And then I looked up their album. I was like, okay, I'll listen to it, and I like it. It's really good. Cool. It is always Linkin Park. Always, they were one of my top artists this year, and I didn't think I listened to them all that much, but I guess I did. Oh yeah. So I was like, well, okay, that makes sense. Linkin Park's always up there, so it's great. But those are my music of the week. So sweet, yeah. So that's been the Nerdkave podcast. We'll have more stuff next week to tell you guys, and so hopefully we'll get some Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Fingers crossed. We'll see where Ezra Miller's story goes after. If there's one thing DC related about all this, it's that. Like it always has been, and it always will be. The Ezra Miller saga continues. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Billy and Derek, for chilling in our chat today. Yeah, we appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next week. This is Miles. This is Max. And this has been the Nerdkave podcast. Take it easy. Have a good one. There we go.